So my name is Angie Schierer. I am president of ambulatory operations at North Country Healthcare in the North Country of New Hampshire. So my leadership background has been in the administrative roles of hospitals, both for-profit and not-for-profit, mainly in critical access and rural hospitals for the last 11 years. I would say I'm closing into my career at the end of my career spectrum, looking at the next 10 to 15 years and winding down after that. So I feel like I have done a lot of administrative roles. I was in consulting, and I just wanted to be back in part of a team at that career level of an executive in a framework that really involved small and rural hospitals, critical access, rural health clinics, and that environment. I'm going to say I ebb and flowed. There were days as a consultant, you get kind of, how do I say it, lonely in the consulting world when you don't have peers to, assist. And I would actively pursue, maybe looking at positions once a week, sometimes twice a week. And then there was months that would go by that I really wasn't looking. It was more of, okay, I got this, I can do this, and not really looking. When we found each other, it was kind of in the middle. I had been looking, and then I'm like, I'm just going to take a break. And you came along. Two things. One, I scoped out your organization, and I really felt confident in the abilities and what I was looking for in a recruiter. I will be perfectly honest. I was one that never felt I needed to work with a recruiter, and that you had really brought that to the table. You brought that expertise and that comfort level of what I was looking for or thought I needed in a recruitment firm, because I had no idea. I didn't know what I was looking for, and that expertise was there. The other piece of that was the position itself. You focused up on the New Hampshire area. A couple of years ago, we were out here as leaf peepers, and I'd always told my husband, if something came available, I really want to look at it, and you had that opportunity available. It was an immediate invitation to have a conversation, I think, is what really stood out. The other piece that stood out was that you were not one of those broader spectrum everybody goes to look at the B.E. Smiths of the world. You were personalized. You had a niche to fit, and that's what I was looking for. I didn't want that big corporation to be fit into a position. It was completely opposite. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Having not worked with a recruitment firm or anybody like that, I mean, you guided me through everything, the expectations. You knew the company, so you already knew NCH. You knew what they were looking for, and you could really make that a seamless process, looking at how we can, both benefit each other in this, new world for me as I was looking at it. I really think, when people start looking at a job, you don't know what you don't know, and you were able to feed questions to me that I had not thought about. And it was from the perspective also of your expertise, and then the questions you asked of the organization to come back to me. And I think that was a true value add that I did not expect. Right out of the gate, I was asked, what am I looking for? Not just career, but location. And why was that location important? You asked about my family. Was there any family up here? And no, that was a big no. I'm leaving all of the family behind. But it was looking at the whole picture, not just a career position and trying to plant a person into a position. It was making sure that I was seeking something that was going to also be the right fit. Oh my gosh, amazing. Again, like I said before, you fed me some great information, great questions, and really guided me through what I should expect. And then I did my own research and looked at, questions I would also want to ask. the entire process was seamless. Salary negotiations, there were no qualms whatsoever. I mean, you took care of all of it. I mean, you knew what I wanted and you knew what they wanted, and it all blended very well, very quickly. Well, professionally, obviously, I'm in a president role, an executive leadership role that I was seeking in rural health. You know, I have 11 physician practices, 5 are RHCs. You know, you heard me. You heard what I wanted, and it's part of what's becoming a clinically integrated network through NCH. And I have the best of both worlds. So I have hospital and clinics all right here. Personally, or we'll do financial next. So financially, I mean, hands down, you knew what I was looking for. You helped me to achieve that. We really hadn't settled on a full number. We just kind of had an idea of, I want to be somewhere around here, and you met and then exceeded that through the packages that I received from signing on. Personally, again, like we talked, you knew what I was looking for. You knew not just me professionally, me personally, in the values, the rural, the environment that I was looking for. And you found that. I mean, it was just a win-win-win all the way around for me. The role has definitely over-delivered what I was looking for. I mean, honestly, you know, when I tell people that you become part of a family, it truly is a family up here, and you are just brought right in. I mean, it's almost as if they suck you in to their family environment and say, here you go, you know, you're part of us now. It is an amazing feeling in the environment that I'm in. Just 1 month. Again, I couldn't have asked for any more. When I think about it, you know, I drive to work looking at the mountains and I'm like, wow, I never thought I would be here doing this, but it was just such a seamless evolvement of how this has come to be. And again, it was a new position. They did not have this position. Everybody was questioning it. And I still have that 1 month in of people that I haven't met yet. And yes, there's still a lot of people I have not met. You know, so what's your role? Well, I'm building it. So tell me what you would see this role as. And it's really exciting because you get to be creative and innovative, and yet you use your expertise in, you know, other executive roles on how to help really build the organization, not just for financial reasons, but also sustainability and innovation. So it was just, yeah, it's just been great all the way around. You know, that's a great question I never thought of. Honestly, I think, you know, for that next chapter, as I start to kind of wind down again, I may want to go back to consulting a little bit. Ultimate goal, you know, probably a lot like others, you know, is when you retire from your full-time work, you want to still be able to do something. And, you know, I will be looking to PX3 saying, hey, what are some opportunities where I can work either as a remote consultant, maybe periodically going hands-on and, you know, on site. Maybe there's a, you know, additional teaching opportunities somewhere, you know, or creating some leadership development programs for those up and coming leaders that, you know, someone reaches out and says, I really want to go into a leadership role. And then you're like, well, let's get you trained a little bit more and finesse some of that, you know, and look at, you know, what can we do to help build this person, you know, and help grow the future. Because I think people need to not be scared of recruiters. You know, I was one of them. I never thought I needed a recruiter, and then all you see are the bigger firms, and I felt like, you know, I could go out on my own, you know, through the Indeed search or whatever. And no, by all means, everybody needs to be looking at a recruitment firm, you know, and you got to find the one that fits you. You've got to find one that really understands you as a person and as a family person, as well as a professional person. And that's, you know, where you kind of came into play. Was not expecting it whatsoever. And again, you know, that's just, I just want others to know the value of it and how you can make it such a seamless process. Okay, I'm going to look at that 2 ways.
Sure.
If it's one of my fellows here at this organization, my first question is why, to understand why are you looking? Because I want to keep everybody. But secondly, depending on, what the reason is, they want to relocate, they want something different, they have different aspirations and dreams, hands down, because you get to know the person. It's not just a position, you get to know the person. And that's what I appreciate. Tell them to call me. Yes. Oh my gosh, anybody that is a little reluctant, please tell them to reach out. My cell phone number, my email. I mean, they don't know what they're missing because I didn't know what I was missing. And that's where I really feel the value was brought, because I had no idea what to expect. At my level, I know people at my level, obviously probably work with recruiters. Again, you don't need that big firm. Really look at it as, is the recruiter meeting your needs? Whether it's for you personally, you professionally, you as, just someone that wants to explore an opportunity. Definitely, I feel like you bring those capabilities to somebody at our level, especially when, I went, I feel like halfway across the United States, just coming from Illinois to New Hampshire. You make it smooth. You look at it as, are you sure you want to be here? You look at the environment, of where we're looking at to make sure it's going to be a good fit. You asked me, early on, why wasn't I looking down south? Well, I don't want warm. I don't like the ocean. You got to know the person and what they truly are looking for. So, if you have anybody that has qualms, please have them call me. So I will gladly help them see the light, I guess you could say, of what I didn't know existed in a recruiter.